Hello everyone, GZTV. You are back with another video, and in this video we are here to discuss the latest and greatest installment in the Dexter Resurrections series. We have the 5th episode, the mid-season finale. Was it mid or was it good? I have a couple of gripes with this I want to get off my chest right away as we go through the review. I don't want to say them right now because this is kind of an intro to the video, but there are definitely a couple of things that kind of threw me off a little bit with this episode. So just kind of summarizing what happened, Dexter successfully reconnects with his son Harrison, but learns they're not the same. Obviously the cliffhanger from last episode was that he met up with Harrison. He found him in New York. His son was about to turn himself in. He's like, no, I can't let that happen. So confronted him. And now it seems like they're gonna have a relationship, father and son. Dexter's dating life takes a dark turn with Lady Vengeance's murderous proposition, and just her intentions are kind of revealed. And that's a crazy thing. That's kind of the big thing of the episode I want to mention. What the fuck? Dexter learns the value of truth, reveals Rita's death, and focuses on being a father to Harrison. That's another huge moment. I do think they kind of casually go over some of the big moments, especially in this show. I don't know. I feel like that's a way bigger deal than they are putting on. It's a way bigger moment than what they lead on. After the first 4 episodes of this show saw a lot of cat and mouse chasing take place, this episode called Murder Horny, which I was kind of questioning that title before I watched it, and ever since the 5th episode got announced, was all about delivering on a significant reunion between Dexter and his son Harrison, something that's been kind of building for the last 4 episodes. Meanwhile, another key relationship in Dexter's life was explored in new details. The balance between wanting to be a father and his lust for violence has been a key storyline in this show as well. Uniquely in this show because Harrison's a lot more in his life and a lot more accessible than he was in any of the other series. That was never more evident than in this episode. After the previous episode featured a multitude of characters, this one was more grounded and focused on Dexter himself, which I think was definitely a positive. And really the only 3 characters that are focused upon in this episode are Dexter, Harrison, and Lady Vengeance, Mia. So that's great. We're gonna get through the 3 pillars, I guess I can call it, and then that'll be a video. So Dexter and Harrison Morgan finally reunite in the show. Dexter attempts to reconnect with his son, show some sympathy, try to establish some fathering ground. The entire purpose of this season has been about Dexter trying to reconnect with Harrison. That's been the major storyline that's built up. Obviously this whole criminal investigation against Harrison, which is still ongoing, is big, but that was all leading to Dexter getting to Harrison quite literally, as that's the reason he's in New York. However, Harrison presumed he'd killed his father when he shot him. Therefore, seeing him again was a huge surprise, and not one that he welcomed. He wanted Dexter to be out of his life. Part of him was happy he shot his dad because his dad was nothing but a bad influence. He wasn't a true father figure because Dexter has no social awareness, has no awareness for anything besides killing people. He's kind of a fucking vegetable, really. Dexter successfully stopped his son from handing himself in over the murder of Ryan Foster. Obviously, again, that's what was happening last episode, but that didn't mean he was ready to forgive him for everything else that had happened over the years. I mean, yeah, part of you wants to say you can't really be mad at Dexter, but another part's like, dude, you were supposed to be dead. Your son killed you for a reason. He shot you for a reason. Anyway, they returned to Dexter's apartment and had an intense conversation during which they reviewed various things, of course. Dexter tried to relate to Harrison, pointing out that he nearly killed a predator who touched Deborah. Back in Original Sin we showed that's what's kind of cool that they're showing flashbacks from that show. That shows the value that that show has in this franchise in general. It's already paying off, as he explained his lust and desire to kill at a young age. However, it was here that he learned a harsh truth, which is that Harrison doesn't have the same feeling. Harrison isn't the same. He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't have this dark passenger inside of him. He was just acting out of pure instincts. I don't think this really had anything to do with Dexter, and Dexter's kind of trying to make it seem like he had something to do with it so he can try to have his sick, twisted version of like a proud dad moment, but his son's not going for it. He made it clear that killing Ryan has been torturing him and is all that he can think about, which is when it becomes clear that they're not the same. Like, Harrison genuinely is hurt over this, genuinely traumatized, thinks about it every day, the watch haunts him, all these things. This was a brilliant scene, this confrontation in the apartment, and one that really drove home the differences between them. Although Dexter did try to help Harrison by taking Ryan's watch from him, which had been haunting him, that's not going to do anything. He's already a broken fucking child. Really all he has is this hotel and Elsa, and that kind of got curved. Dexter's dating life takes a drastic turn as well. We can get into this whole thing with Lady Vengeance. Dexter has dealt an unfortunate blow from Lady Vengeance. I mean, my goodness, you couldn't have got more unlucky. Dexter, you kind of realize as you're watching the show, he doesn't have the greatest like social awareness. He doesn't have the greatest social skills, and that really shows here. After being rejected by his son, I mean, he damn near gets rejected by someone else. I mean, he decides to go find the only person he knows in New York, Mia, and build a relationship with. Obviously Blessing, but Blessing doesn't understand this. Blessing can't have heart-to-heart intimate conversations. He might claim he could, but not these sort of conversations. He's against serial killers, obviously. Like, the rideshare serial killer had the whole city of New York and the your car community in a frenzy. So if he figured out that Dexter was a killer, being the moral man he is and being the good man he is, obviously we should be rooting for that guy, but it's Dexter's show, so step the fuck aside, Blessing. Dexter would instantly get get reported to the authorities. So obviously Mia is better known as Vengeance. The two of them pick up right where they left off in the previous episode when they seem destined to take their friendship to a more romantic level. Now obviously that's a little quick that they were doing that, and I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of that, but it's fine. I think Christian Ritter and Michael C. Hall have a well enough chemistry on screen that it worked. They enjoy one of Dexter's few non-killing hobbies with a game of bowling, which is fun because that kind of nods to him being on like the bowling team back in Miami Metro and like with those guys. And when she beats him and enjoys playing, it seems like he's truly found someone he can connect with. Like, this is like, okay, we both like bowling, she's good at it, you know, we're both obviously serial killers. That's like the elephant in the room. That's the main reason we got together, because we kind of connect on that ground. He gets hit with an unexpected suggestion and the whole thing just fucking turns to shit. And I'm honestly not a huge fan of how they handled this. She wants them to kill together, and at first you're like, oh, okay, do you have someone in mind you're finding that is justifiable to kill? And it's obviously an idea that he sits on, as Harry makes it clear that he's not thinking straight, yet he still goes for a drink with her. He wants to give it a chance because he wants this relationship to work. He really likes this girl. Unfortunately for Dexter, this is when he learns the truth about Mia, as she doesn't have a code at all, which part of me likes the kind of shock value of that in the show and the context of the show. And like what we've been looking at Lady Vengeance as is just this badass, like, fuck you, no one's gonna stand for sexual assault against minors and shit, domestic cases, no one's gonna stand for that. But like to that extent, to do that stuff, to kill people like Dexter but focus on those things, that's a pretty cool thing that everyone can get behind. But that just gets thrown out the window here at the same time. It's like, oh, I really wanted to like Mia, but now I could fucking care less that she got arrested. It's not like, oh no, she got arrested. It's like, good, lock her dumb ass up. She fucking screwed it up. While he thought she only killed sexual predators, Mia admits that she just enjoys killing people and she wants to do it that evening. And now it seems like none of the serial killers in that whole Prater situation kill for the better good, which makes sense. That's how a normal serial killer is. They just do it because they're evil. It's the last thing that Dexter wants to hear, as he hoped they shared a common bond over having a code, and he opts not to do a joint kill with her despite Mia's insistence. That leaves Lady Vengeance claiming to be murder horny, which is why the episode's called that, weird ass character, so she goes to find her next victim. Dexter has his tools to kill her, but after already disposing of Lowell, he believes killing another of the serial killer dinner party guests would look suspicious, obviously. However, knowing that she's about to kill an innocent man doesn't sit right with him, and Ryan Foster, given that he doesn't have like a criminal history, it strikes a chord in Dexter. That's when he breaks into her apartment and eventually phones the police when she's in the middle of attempting to kill, and this is a really awesome plot twist, by the way, which leads to her arrest. And on top of that, it's revealed that Dexter planted evidence with Ryan's watch being in her trophies, so she's caught as the murderer for Ryan Foster, and as of now, it covers up for Harrison's crimes. Now, I know the detectives are probably smart enough, they're like, oh, this is complete bullshit, someone tarnished this. This seemingly frames her for his murder and ensures that Harrison will no longer be seen as a suspect, with Dexter dealing with two situations at once. But you do see the hint of Charlie going in there, and it's like, well, maybe she intervenes and like finds out that Dexter did this. I don't know. And Dexter Morgan learns the value of the truth. He showcases a different side of himself. We can kind of get into more stuff with him and Harrison because that's a really, really big moment in this episode. Dexter might be a talented serial killer, but when it comes to his son, he doesn't share the same feeling overall. In this episode, Dexter appeared to learn that lesson as he had another conversation with Harrison after he learned what his father did for him with Ryan's watch. Rather than Dexter continuing to try to push his son down a dark path, Dexter focuses just on being a father and trying to build him up to be a man. Obviously, he's already a man, basically. You know, he's getting in relationships with the girls he works with, he's pretty independent to an extent, and all these things. He finally reveals the truth about Rita's death, admitting he got too close to the Trinity killer and allowed the lines between mentor and victim to blur, which is an awesome moment. He confesses that his selfishness got Harrison's mother killed, and while it was a rare moment of honesty from Dexter, it's something I think that pays off and something that's really going to help their relationship. He makes it clear that he needs Harrison to try and help him and that he will no longer try to make him a killer. That is seemingly all Harrison needed to hear, because he forgives his father right on the spot, holding his hand and admitting that Dexter's all he has left as well, and that seems a little convenient, but it's fine, you know? I think it makes sense. It's an emotional scene in an otherwise intense episode. This is one of the only like down-to-earth moments, but one that needed to happen in order to continue Dexter's growth as a character, which this franchise has always been brilliant at kind of facilitating to an extent. Elsewhere, Charlie ends up visiting Mia in prison. I guess I kind of touched on that a little earlier in the review, where she poses as her lawyer. She went to Harvard. Wow. Cool. Not convenience much. She assures Lady Vengeance that her time in jail will be short, seemingly teasing that she will get out, which possibly sets up the prospect of her wanting revenge on Dexter if she's able to put the pieces together and figure out that Dexter did this. Now, these seem like some pretty intelligent people, so I think my prediction is I think that's gonna happen. I hope it happens, because that's gonna make this a great show. It was another intense episode of the show, which continues to go from strength to strength. It just keeps going. There's a clear, slow-burning storyline unfolding here, but seeing some of Dexter's key relationships fleshed out in more detail has helped to positively advance the overall plot of the show. So that's kind of like my general discussion, and now we can get into a review. There's not any like huge questions I want you guys to answer in the comments, but I don't really have time to full-on review shows. I just kind of like to recap and have a discussion in the comments. That's kind of what the point of that is. And it is a spoiler review. I guess I keep forgetting to mention that in videos, but there's that. I enjoyed this episode. I think it was fine. I was like 15 minutes shorter than the last one, which is kind of weird and off-putting, but it wasn't terrible overall. Again, I don't like what they did to Mia's character. I do think it's cool how there's a potential for everyone to kind of turn on Dexter now that he's kind of ruffling some feathers in this whole predator serial killer camp, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's an official name for it. They didn't really say. I do like that they kind of rebounded that by involving Charlie a little bit more into the outside of the predator stuff for being a Harvard student, which again is convenient. But I really wish that Mia and Dexter would have built a relationship. I'm not like horny to see someone get in a relationship. I just think that would have been cool because those two actors and actresses are really good together. They pair well together. And again, it's kind of a crossover of two of my favorite shows, Breaking Bad and Dexter. And I wanted to see what happened with that, but now I guess I can see what happens when they're on different sides of the pole. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting one going forward. I wonder what's going to happen with Harrison. There is a lot of intrigue as we wait pretty much 5-6 days for the next episode to come out. But with that being said, I am out, guys. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully you have been enjoying these reviews so far. I'm trying to get them out as soon as possible while also trying to focus on some MCU stuff, which has been a lot of fun. I'm actually going to start working on some stuff like that. We got a Yeet video coming out. You guys are going to have a lot of the videos by the time like I'm talking about this, so I don't really know what the point of this is because you're gonna have a Yeet video as well as an Iron Man movie review coming out by the time this is out. So have a good rest of your day. Thank you guys for your support.